Hello and welcome to Space Shark Teaches. I'm Sean from Space Shark Studios, and I'm here to teach you GDScript in Godot 3.1. Let's get started. In this lesson, we are going to create a background image for our game, as well as add a camera to the player so that it can follow the player around as they move across the level. So let's start by adding a background. As before, we want to go ahead and add a background that I have made available in the description. You can either do that or you can make your own. I highly suggest trying to play around with making your own platforms and backgrounds, especially since my platform wasn't great and my background isn't really too much better. So it's fun to play around with pixel art and see what you can do. As normal, we go ahead and move industrial background into the sprites folder, go to our presets under import, select 2D pixel, and enable repeat. Hit re-import, and now we can go ahead and add a new sprite to here. I'm going to go ahead and drag it in, and as you can see, it's pretty big. That way it doesn't look as weird when we tile it. The problem is it appears over everything else. We don't really want that. So how do we fix that? Well, this fun little thing called z-index. So z is the depth. You can't see it right here, but this is the x, this is the y, and z is the forward and back. So if you look at this 2D or 3D, x is here, y is here, and this blue is z. So the further in the negative, the further back here when it comes to 2D, and the further in the positive, the more on top of everything else it is. So we're going to set this to -10, and now you can see it will always appear behind everything else, even if, like in here, it's in front based on the hierarchy. So that allows us to now go to region, enable this, and now if you look at the actual image, it's 256 by 64. So we're going to do 256 times, let's say 20, and 64 by 20. Now I'll go ahead and move it right here. And we have a garish looking background. This took me a while to find something that didn't completely make people go insane. So once again, try your hand at making something else. Go ahead and use Google or Bing or DuckDuckGo or whatever to look for inspiration from older NES and Super Nintendo Genesis era games. So that's done. We have a background. That was pretty easy, right? It is just as easy to add a camera. We just go into our player and we add a camera 2D. Press play, and it didn't work. Why is that? It's because a camera, must be set to current. Whatever the current camera is, that will be the one that is used. Because camera current wasn't placed, it used the default. But now we have a camera. Awesome. So now we can go around and see what our level looks like. There are some fun things you can play with here. So drag margins determines where on the screen you can go before the camera starts to move. So we're going to set these to 0.4, 0.5, 0.4, 0.5. And now you'll be able to see you can go further along the side of the screen than before. And you can get higher before it moves and lower before it moves. Another fun one is smoothing. So if we enable smoothing, it will give it a much more modern feel because it follows along with you. So smooth cameras are something that are fairly popular. And you can control it, so you can do 20, and it'll catch up to you really quickly. You can see it's almost like there is no smoothing. You can have 1, and it will follow not that well. Pair this with something like a really close box. And you can see you can make this look and feel however you want just by playing around with these values. I am actually going to stick with default off, and then something around 0.3, 0.4, 0.3, 0.4. And so that's what we're going to be using for the rest of this, because it gives you enough room to be able to look around and go up without not being able to see what's above you or below you before it's too late. And that is it. In the next lesson, we are going to start animating our little character here, and as well as the scene, because if you look specifically at the platforms, and I tried to make it look kind of circuitry-like, so we can actually start animating these so things light up and go away. That is it for this lesson. See you then. Thank you for watching Space Shark Teaches. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel and remember to click the bell to always stay up to date. Please also join us on our Discord, linked in the comments, and check out our other videos if you ever want to see what else we've been up to. Thanks again for watching, and we can't wait to see what you make.